How about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Crazy all day, baby.
You're listening to the RedOUT Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into another RedOUT Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Devin, and let's see if we can get the guys on and we'll talk some sports, and then we will discuss the Sweet 16 bracket for our restaurant challenge. I hope you all enjoyed that last week. It was a longer episode. Oh, I'm fat and overweight. I'm sorry. Hey, Jared, how's it going?
Yo,
Alex.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. Clear? No interruptions? No whatsoever?
No, you sound great, buddy.
Sweet. What's up, Devin?
Not much. How are you, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Just doing well. Trying to do well amidst all this craziness. I mean, I just found out that I'm going to be working from home now, so it's kind of weird, but I'm
Nice. Hey, Jared.
going to push through it.
Hey guys.
All right, we've got Alex. We got Jared.
What's up, Jared?
Are you going to start working from home, too?
Not until they install a full functioning Starbucks drive-thru at my house. Which, if that was the case, I mean, I'd be a lot better off.
That would actually be really hilarious. So, I guess we'll talk winners and losers real quick while we're waiting on Ross. Alex, I'll let you go first. And I have actually got to run downstairs real quick and grab my bracket for our Sweet 16. So I will be right back, but go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I already got my bracket pulled out. The winners would have to be, and I'm not trying to toot our own horn or anything, but the state of Kentucky. Shout out to Governor Andy Beshear just for his poise, his demeanor. He's already getting some good national attention. I've got a bunch of people all over that hit me up the past 2 weeks and just been like, wow, we really wish that Andy was our governor. Just how his actions are just swift amidst all this. And I know that other states have done lockdowns. I know Michigan has for a fact, Illinois, California, but it's just like, I mean, it's like he's doing this not only for the people, but just like, I mean, it's just taking a lot of steps just because this coronavirus has slowed down every walk of life, from sports to church to work to school to just everything. And I mean, it's just, we got to do our part to just slow the curve down. And just his response to everything is just, it's so heartwarming to be a Kentuckian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I completely agree. Especially when you look to states like Indiana, even Tennessee, I think, is a lot worse off.
Yeah, Tennessee is
Tennessee's horrible at the moment.
Yeah, like it took Mayor Cooper in Nashville to do what Andy Beshear did like a week. Like he finally decided to force restaurants and businesses to go to drive-through only and everything, when Beshear did that like the week before Mayor Cooper in Davidson County did. And the thing with Davidson County and Nashville in Tennessee, I mean, they have more cases there than we have in the whole state of Kentucky. So, I mean, Beshear, you got to give him props. The meme group, the Andy Beshear memes for the social distancing teams is incredible. If you're not,
which is amazing.
Oh, it's so great. It's gotten national attention and everything.
That's hilarious. I swear to God, if he tells me to look at that St. Louis, Philadelphia thing one more time, I'm just going to be like, dude, I can probably quote what you're going to say right now.
And my losers, can I do losers right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
My losers would have to be just, and this is going to be very serious, but whoever, I forgot what county it was in Kentucky, but they threw a coronavirus party.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Probably Eastern Kentucky.
So that's basically my losers, like just natural selection at its best. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I will say, in my industry, things are getting a lot crazier. So, like, I've heard that people are actually, that if you can't go to a visitation, because of the virus, I've actually heard that people, are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you, Jared. I can't hear Alex. Okay. So anyway, so people have actually they call the funeral homes, and they have the funeral homes write their name into the little book, the register book is what they call it. So they'll do that. Also heard of people calling florists and having them send balloons. So like a balloon would represent a person. So the people could, have a room full of balloons symbolizing the other people. And I think those are good sentiments. I think that's a good thing to do. Like Alex said, you have to do your part, and I mean it's a sacrifice right now, and of course it's bad that this sacrifice has to happen when you're probably in your darkest day like this. But
yeah,
Yes.
Jared, do you have any winners and losers?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with my loser. I mean, of course, this is kind of a big deal. The Olympics are going to be postponed until next year. I think that Japan's going to lose like billions of dollars because of all the plans and things that they had set for this year, which, I mean, it does suck, but I think it's the right thing to do. Even if by this summer it's looking a lot better with this virus, I think that just letting it completely kind of dissipate and then being able to have the Olympics hopefully with everyone next year, because I know Australia was going to pull out, Canada was going to pull out, and they just made the right decision. It still sucks, and it'll be really weird having it in an odd number year. I don't know how many times in history that's happened, but
This is the first time.
yeah, wow. So that's
Crack
even
one
more
open real
shocking.
quick.
Yeah.
No, this is the first time I think they delayed it. I want to say the last time that it's actually been canceled outright was it was like World War I or World War II.
Yeah, probably.
But as a person who loves to play the game, oh my gosh, what's that game called?
Medal of Honor.
No, not Medal of Honor.
Call of Duty.
Oh crap! I bet I don't have it on my phone. I got it on my iPad. It is
Basketball?
No. It's Plague Inc. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Someone in
that game.
Area 51 is playing it on the wrong computer.
Exactly. But with the Plague Inc. game, I always remembered like whenever I created the virus, the bug, the germ, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Whenever they did the Olympics, it kind of always exploded a little bit. And so like I was watching to see when that would happen, because you've got all these isolated countries who have natural borders that have shut people out. And so if you have an Olympics, and let's say Madagascar, New Zealand, I mean, I'm sure they've got cases, but let's say they didn't, and they go to the Olympics and come into contact with it and they take it back, same thing.
Yeah.
There's Ross. Good.
Hey guys, sorry.
No, you're good, bud. Yeah, life happens. It's all good. We're just talking winners and losers and a little COVID-19 talk.
Hey, something I thought, I don't know if we got into this last week. I don't think we ever really talked about just the emotions of them canceling the season and kind of what it meant for naming the basketball programs. I mean, we might have touched on it briefly, but I think we mainly just talked about COVID-19 last week.
Yes, yeah, and the thing is, we talked about how it affected us. I mean, I think that's a good topic to kind of jump into real quick while we're just sitting here talking. You got to think how much money the NCAA is losing because they're not having the games.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just having to air all of those reruns and just like highlights from special moments and everything. But I mean, still, not many people are going to tune into that as they would a new fresh tournament and everything. And of course, you don't have the attendance either.
You don't have the attendance. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Ross. No,
Well,
you're good.
I was listening to a podcast, I guess earlier in the week, and it's a lot of the smaller schools, like the NCAA tournament, really makes or breaks their budget. So like, you get a share that's split across the conference, and like your conference makes a run, your conference gets more money, and they budget that in. Well, that's not gonna get paid as much out because the insurance policy was only like $250 million out of the $2 billion or whatever they get a year, and it gets broken down by the bigger conferences obviously get more. So like in a Western sense, like that's not good. I mean, it kind of robs us of our chance. The real thing is, I see this kind of as a blessing or a curse. Like we didn't get a chance to see if we would finally break through and make the conference tournament this year. if the Lady Tops were good enough to get that at-large seed and they were right on the line, and that's kind of crappy. And it's kind of a blessing and a curse on the men's side for the simple fact that Stansbury didn't let us down again, but he also didn't prove us right. So it's kind of like we're stuck in limbo without another data point.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: since you're talking NCAA tournament, if they sat down, of course they got a lot of other stuff they're doing. If they sat down and made up a bracket, would you want to see if your team was on it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean, even if I was even if I was North Texas, like that would have been such a big deal. Like, okay, they got awarded because of the regular season title. Just saying, okay, we made it. This is where we would have been seated, and it would have been a kind of a cool reward for all the players and coaches that worked so hard. Even though, we would know that, like, okay, it wouldn't have been the same, like, as you won the conference tournament and earned it, but like, it still would have been a big accomplishment, and everybody could have put that on their resume or whatever. So,
Jared, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually saw an Instagram live video from one of the men's players right after they got the word that it was canceled, and pissed is an understatement for how they felt.
Yes,
because,
I heard, yes.
like, especially what Tavion Hollingsworth said, I think he tweeted out, it's like everything that you've worked so hard for this entire season and you don't even get the chance to compete for it. That's the thing that makes it suck so much, is that, I mean, I understand how big of a deal it was to cancel it, and that it was probably a good decision. I mean, even though they could have spread everybody out in the Ford Center in Frisco for social distancing, there's still a lot of risks that are involved with that, and just everything right now. But
they could have actually used the curtain to shield people from Rona.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm calling.
But the whole thing is that the players, I absolutely hate it for them. Like, especially the seniors like Jared Savage and Cam Justice. I mean, that's a terrible way to go out, not being able to even compete for a conference title or beyond that potentially. So, I mean, it's just a lot of what ifs. I mean, what if they didn't cancel it? How would we have done? Would we have beaten UAB if we were able to play that first game in the tournament? I mean, those are things that we'll never know the answer to.
Well, I think also just it magnifies like that missed free throw against North Texas. It's like
because we would have been the regular season title.
Yeah, and that would have been something that Stansbury, all the players could have hung their hat on, regardless if they canceled this. Like, I think a lot of people, and I was leading the charge against this, but a lot of people were downplaying, like, well, it doesn't matter that we didn't run the regular season title. It all matters in Frisco, and that's where I was, vocally disagreeing with that on the internet because, it would have been tangible. Like, Stansbury now enters his 5th season, no conference titles, no tournament bids. Obviously, there's an asterisk after this year with the fact that they couldn't go to the conference tournament. They were the 2 seed. But, imagine, people would have probably got off his butt a little bit, us included, if Hollingsworth would have just made that free throw against North Texas. It's crazy how close 3 years in a row, like, one little bounce, like, cost, Western from breaking that streak. It's crazy.
Yep, you got to get those easy points. And, I mean, it just kind of goes to show how much, it's, hand grenades as far as, almost. Anyway. So, on that thought about the NCAA tournament, let's say you were an automatic, you were going to win it, or not win the tournament, but you were going to be on the tournament. Let's say like a Kentucky or somebody in that nature, if you understand what I'm saying. Do you think their coach should get a bonus with this hypothetical bracket if it came out?
I don't know. I mean, if you do it for every coach, then I would say yes. But just because that they're like a higher league coach,
I'm just saying, like, if so if you're an automatic bid in, you're going to get there, yada yada yada. Do you give that coach a bonus?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Alex, what do you
think?
I think that the ceiling would be if they were on the fence of trying to get a new contract. A contract extension would be nice. Like, it would be guaranteed in this moment.
Okay.
Only for, like, automatic bids. If it's for an at-large, it really just depends on the case. But I would favor it more with the OVCs, the CUSAs, the Ivy Leagues.
Give Darren Horn a bonus.
Yes, he deserves it.
Okay, Jared, sorry I interrupted you. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be the right thing to do. And I mean, depending on, especially like with these smaller schools, especially, I think they definitely would deserve it because, I mean, especially it's just kind of turbulent times for our economy and just everyone's financial situations are definitely in a bind right now. So I think that would be a good thing to do because of this virus just kind of ruining everything.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I
and
mean,
you got to think, how much does it suck for a school like Dayton? Like Dayton's
Yeah,
probably,
they could have
they've had
gone
some
to the
good
They had
Final
teams,
the
Four.
but
best season of years.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they made the Elite Eight a couple years ago, and they've had like Final Fours in there. So it's not like they're bereft of history, but like this is probably their best team in 30 years or 50 years, and they don't even get a shot in the tournament, man. And there was all the naysayers. I mean, I don't know.
And even
Okay,
worse
here's a hypothetical. Would have been worse if Western would have run the regular season championship and not got to play in the tournament, or would have been worse what actually happened.
I think it would have been good to have the regular season title, just because we haven't had one in so long. That's something that you still want to always strive for. So I'd say that.
Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I'm going with the consensus. Like it would have been great to just win the regular season title and go from there, but it's like this. We never know what may truly happen. Whereas
Yeah, but to Ross's point, yeah, I feel so bad for teams like Liberty and teams like East Tennessee State that were both like 30-win teams and won their conference tournament and got those bids that they earned, and they didn't get a chance to do anything with it because they could have had some really major success in the NCAA tournament. They had those historic seasons and they weren't even able to compete in it, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would want to take the regular season, but let's say you're a team like MTSU or somebody who's at the bottom of the pack. Isn't this kind of like a saving grace year? Because you're just kind of like,
they were
They didn't
playing.
even make the conference tournament, so they were just getting ahead of everyone else. They were
Yeah, I
ahead
mean-
of everyone else.
yeah. I mean, it's just like, just write it off. It's all good.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Heck,
just my.
I mean, and even people like think about UAB. We didn't talk about this either, but they fired the team we were supposed to play to open the conference tournament. Their coach, who was on the hot seat, didn't even get a chance to save his job. They fire him right after the season's canceled. Then they hire former Ole Miss coach Andy Kennedy. So yeah,
Which I think that's a great hire.
A great hire.
Yeah, he's like their version of Stansberry. He's an alum. Not that Stansberry is for us, but like SEC coach, brings a lot of buzz, a lot of flair, and I think it's going to be great for the league if we've got our talent. We haven't lived up to expectations, but UAB gets it going, and then you have usually the triumvirate of teams that come out of nowhere in our league because they always do. So.
Yes, completely agree. I actually wanted to mention. Did you all see that Kenny Rogers died?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
another thing that was kind of overshadowed with everything going on, but definitely important.
I mean, and that's what that just killed me. I mean, I knew Kenny Rogers is getting old, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand that happens, but my thought is like, I mean, all this is getting overshadowed, but every time I saw him, he looked so much worse. Am I the only one that thought that?
Yeah, he was getting kind of in bad shape. But it kind of reminds me, like, with all of this going on, of when Farrah Fawcett died. She died the same day that Michael Jackson did, too, but yet not as many people were talking about her because it happened at the same time.
Yeah, that was that was so crazy. I mean, that's
Two things. He was great, good pop country guy. Did you guys see the video from like the early '90s or late '80s when he scored a basket on Michael Jordan?
Oh, yes, that was
yeah.
incredible. That is
That's
the greatest highlight you could ever have in anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would put that like as soon as you walked into my house, that would be a TV at the front door with that just playing on a loop.
Yeah.
Just be like, "Yep, I scored a basket on Michael Jordan. There you go."
and I did Islands in the Stream with Dolly Parton. So,
That's right. Yep.
and then
But every time, go ahead.
one thing else that reminded me of. Did you guys ever see the Kenny Rogers Jackass skit on
Yes,
Mad TV
because I was
back in
going
the
to
day?
say,
Watching
yeah,
it.
because every time I hear his name, I think, I'm Kenny Rogers, and you're watching Jackass. And it just brings back a flood of memories.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh, man.
oh, it's so sad. R.I.P. Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, legend.
No, you're good. So we do have some Western news I want to briefly talk about. Zion Harmon is pledges commitment to the Hilltoppers. So is he committed, or is he just saying he's going to?
I mean, he's pretty much committed at this
He's
point.
Okay.
He's committed. He
He's
hasn't
not
signed,
but he's
yeah.
committed. Yeah.
And of course, with basketball, he's not as likely to jump ship as he is like football. So that makes me feel really good. What do you all think is as far as his chances to come to Western? I'll start with Alex. What do you think, bud?
I feel like it's a legitimate shot because he grew up in the Bowling Green area, did move to Adair County, and recently just after AAU days, randomly enough settled in Marshall County. It did fairly well there this past year for the most part. So it's just, I mean, it is a great feeling knowing that not only he chose Western, wanted to come back home, but the list was up against Kansas, Seton Hall, in Louisville, which, okay, Louisville, it's an in-state school. They've been running the in-state recruits lately. But over Kansas, like, it's still very shocking. Like, I'm just like, wow, he really picked Western. I've had my doubts that I've thought, like, okay, he's just going to go to Kansas or Seton Hall based off name brand only. But it just shows, like, I mean, how Stansbury just keeps bringing in recruits, which is a good thing.
Ross, what do you think, bud?
So I mean, I think this is the perfect example of Stansbury. Like, you know, you can say what you will about his coaching ability and the results we've had thus far. They've been mixed and not up to our standards. But you know what keeps us in there? Like a abusive relationship is the good times. And every time somebody doubts him or something happens, he'll pull in a recruit like this. And you know, I don't buy into completely the whole shady recruit and all that stuff. This guy, I mean, there's that picture that Pratt posted from the Sweet 16 when he won it for Bowling Green. Stansbury in the crowd pointing at him. Basically, this has been 5 years in the making. You know, Stansbury has worked him tirelessly. His son played with him at Bowling Green High School. Like, there's a long-standing relationship between the two. Stansbury put in the work and he won. That's the same way we got Bassey, Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Rawls. Like, it's annoying to hear every time we get a good recruit based on long-term relationships and foresight that we get criticized and called cheaters and all this. Why would he go to Western?
The smart money's always on Stansbury.
Yeah, but I mean,
With the dollars on.
yeah, but it validates everything he does, and it's the reason why I personally don't think that we're going to move on from him until he's done. You know, eventually, you know, results, whatever, you're going to amass enough talent on this team that everything's going to click. It hasn't thus far for probably 1,000 reasons, but you know, next year we're set to be stacked. You know, if Harmon reclassifies, then you know we've got a minutes log jam to figure out. If he doesn't reclassify, you put him with Jordan Rawls, Davion McKnight, you know, a lot of talent, and he's your centerpiece. So, I mean, you got to look at it this way. Stansbury's reeled in, 6 4 or 5-star recruits just out of either high school reclassification. That's more than, you know, anybody before. That's 6 more than anybody before him. I remember back in 2007 or 8, we get that Terrence Boyd kid who never actually played, and everybody went nuts over him. Well, now we've got 6 of them. So I mean, it's amazing to see how he did this, and you know, kudos to Stansbury because that's amazing. So
You did forget one player that was really good, Jake Omer. But we'll go to Jared real quick and see what you got. What do you think, buddy?
Oh, man. But, yeah, I definitely agree with what you said, Ross. I think that he'll stay. Unless something ridiculous happens, then I feel like he'll come to Western. Just because, I mean, obviously all the in-state ties. But the thing that I thought was so funny about this whole process was just how triggered the Seton Hall people were that he chose Western over them. I'm like, y'all are just an average Big East school at best. You have that Miles Powell that's really good this past season, but now he's gone, so y'all are kind of screwed, so good luck with that. But I thought that was kind of random. I mean, I don't see him switching up on us unless I don't think if Kentucky were to try to swoop in and offer him.
I mean,
something,
who
I
have
don't
we
know.
besides Robinson flip flopping? We haven't lost a recruit that we got a commitment on that I
Yeah.
can think of. Like it's
Which
not.
is
Yeah, like it's not like we've gotten these guys. It's not like football where we had that running back that was committed to us early last year, Otis or Amos or whatever, and
Yeah.
he got a better offer from South Carolina and he flipped. Who cares? That stuff happens all the time in basketball. When you get a recruit, you usually keep them. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing with all of this is if the NCAA, I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but that transfer rule that's been talked about, like if he has a really strong first year with us, is he going to stay? Is he going to try to throw his name into the NBA? Or just those kind of questions too. So, I mean, it just depends on how he looks when he get here too, but that's way down the road.
I will say it is kind of discouraging for somebody who, for instance, Bassie was supposed to be our first one and done, and here he is working up on year 3 after, coming back to get more credit with the NBA and then not. So
it's just
it'll
bad
be
luck.
interesting. Yeah, and well, the first year I won't say it was bad luck. I think
No,
he
I'm
just
saying this year was bad luck.
yeah, that's
Oh
what
yeah, the injury. Yeah, definitely agree. But it's just, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how all this goes. But
I don't think Harmon's really a one and done guy. I mean,
No.
he's very small. I mean, how many
Yeah.
how many 5'10" players are in the NBA? That's. I mean, Jared, you're our NBA guy. How many under 6 feet
Well, I
guys
mean,
are?
if you look at Nate Robinson and what he was able to do for a while, he was really strong.
But
Of course,
he played
Isaiah
3 or 4
Thomas.
years at Washington. But yeah,
Yeah, and Isaiah Thomas, he was pretty good. I think C.J. McCollum I can't remember. I think Damian Lillard's only like 6 foot and something.
yeah. I mean,
like
but all
right
those
at
guys
that
played 3 or 4 years in college. So
Yeah.
I don't expect harm. He's a top 50 guy. I think some of his drama has probably caused him to fall a little bit because a couple of years ago he was a top 25 guy. But I don't see him being a one and done. I see him being there for at least 2 or 3 years, and if he lives up to the hype, which is always a big if, I think he's our centerpiece moving forward. And then what was it yesterday? They offered Masterpiece kid who's a 4-star, and there's the Kyrie Walker guy who's been out there. He commented on his on Harmon's commitment. So there's the buzz is back with the program, and all. I guess one great thing about us not playing in the conference tournament this year is we didn't come up short, so that's one less negative recruiting thing. So,
Oh, definitely. So let's slide over to football real quick. Some kind of shocking news with sophomore safety Clayton Bush entering the transfer portal, I should say. Excuse me. So, Jared, how shocked were you to hear about this?
Honestly, I was pretty surprised, but I mean, I know some people that went to South Warren High School at the same time as Hitt, and I've heard some kind of crazy stories. But I mean, of course, that's just rumors. That's nothing that I can really actually say, and nothing I can really talk about either, just for his protection. But
Great.
yeah, so I wish him the best. I was kind of surprised. I mean, I feel like it would have to be because of something else other than just a football decision for him to make that decision, but that's just my opinion. We'll see.
I assumed, and I don't know if you all agree with this or not, but I assumed that with him playing punt return and stuff, I thought that he was waiting for like Devin Key or some of these guys to graduate and thinking he could step into a position. So I'm assuming with him wanting to enter the transfer portal that Helton was like, nah, bro, you're going to chill on the bench or play special teams. Alex, what did you think? Do you agree with that situation or no?
You know what? I actually do. Like, I thought I was the only one that did this, but you've spoken to an existence just from, like, he had really good contributions on special teams, but I feel like he was one of these guys that wanted to make an impact, wanted to prove, like, early.
Yeah.
But somehow got buried in the depth chart. So I'm pretty sure, and I really don't know how this is true or not, but something got in his ear and was just like, you know what? You could do a lot more elsewhere. I just think that it's not just his decision, in my opinion. Like, somebody got in his head or something got like you could actually do more. Like, you can prove yourself. You have to leave.
I agree with that. I'm not going to comment on who I think, but I would assume that someone close to him would say something like that. Yeah, I agree. Ross, what do you think?
See, I'm not completely buying that. I think the timing is messed up. I think, really what you guys don't remember about Bush is he is a WKU legacy. His dad was a star, I think, linebacker in the '80s, and is
I
a
think so too,
prominent
yeah.
doctor in Bowling Green. He bleeds Western. He was the first commitment of the 2019 class. All of his social media posts before this broke out. I mean, he seemed to enjoy his time. He wasn't. I think something unexpected happened, and I think we don't know what it is. I mean, I alluded in the article it could have been playing time. I didn't see him starting this year. I mean, the defensive backfield only lost one starter, which is Coco Darden. I don't really know if Bush had the size. He was probably a little too big to play the nickel. So, he was definitely gonna be stuck behind Devin Key and Antoine Kincaid, who are all conference level players. But I mean, after that, he would have saw plenty of playing time on the field in that nickel or extra linebacker type, that has some speed type position, and he would have been in great position to start in 2021 and 2022. I just think something unexpected happened. We don't know the whole story. I mean, if we do hear the whole story and it becomes public, we'll comment on it. But I think he's got too many ties to the area, the program, his family. Something had to happen where this came out of nowhere, and I think it will be telling, kind of based on if he was looking for playing time, where he ends up. If he ends up at a sitting out going to P5, then maybe you're right, Alex. But if he ends up going to JUCO or he goes to Division II school or something like that, then it definitely alludes to something else happening. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I just something's a little fishy about this.
I'm going to say if he goes to a JUCO, something's really going wrong.
Yeah,
there's a big issue going on there.
Think about all those guys that think about some of the guys we got on our team, like Trey Meadows, starting cornerback this year. He started his freshman year at NC State, was actually a pretty good player, and then he left, went to JUCO, is now at Western. I mean, there's laundry list of players that have to leave either for some laundry list of reasons. Either you rebuild your stock or you get some more tape. We all lost last chance. Some JUCOs, like the talent level is really good. You're gonna have a good mix of players. Yeah.
I mean, I understand things happen, and I'm not saying that, and I'm not running him down or anything like that. I honestly think it's playing time issues, and I think that he thinks he should be getting a lot more playing time. But my thing is I don't even think – did he even net positive on punt return this year?
Well, he never really got to return any, yeah.
I was going to say every time I saw it, he was fair catching it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not running him down. I'm just saying, just stating the fact.
I mean, hey, if you're not fumbling the ball on a punt return, that's better than a lot of people do. So
yeah,
I completely agree with that.
That's better than me when I had to do that for the spring game in 2016. So yeah.
You gotta tell that story at the end of the. You gotta tell that story, Jared, because I never heard this one.
Oh, I gotta tell you that one then. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yes, we'll do that as soon as we get done with our Sweet 16. Yeah, Jared. So you missed it. There were a lot of upsets last week. A lot of upset people leaving the show last week. Yeah,
I will probably leave the show if Outback does not advance.
Jake was extremely upset by the Raising Cane's Texas Roadhouse. You go find
him on that.
I don't think you're going to have a lot to worry about now. Well, I kind of agree, but it's just the matchup he got. If it had gotten something better, it would have been a lot better. But if we have a tie, I'll remind everybody, we'll go to the wheel and we will ask. We've got our phone a friend, which is just us asking the nearest person we can find, and then I will post to the. Excuse me, diet sodas right before the show is awful. I will post to the different RedOUT social medias, and then I do have one for the towel rack to post to Twitter for a poll to do a tiebreaker. So our ties last week, we had McDonald's versus Hardee's, Applebee's versus Subway, Ruby Tuesday versus Taco John's was another one, and Raising Cane's versus Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse came out on top on that one. We also had Ruby Tuesday thumping Taco John's 55-18. So Ruby Tuesdays moves on to play Wendy's,
Tier.
and we have
Tier.
McDonald's. We have McDonald's falling to Hardee's. So Hardee's advances. That was a 16-2, and then Applebee's beat Subway 60-43. Yeah, I think I said that right. Yes. Which, by the way, that blows me away. I figured more people would vote for Subway, but that's not the big one that I'm going to have a fit about this week. So we're going to start in the East Division, and I will read these out as we go along. So our first matchup, this is so random. Hardee's versus Shogun. Jared, we'll start with you. What do you think, buddy?
As someone who is on the texting list for the discounted appetizers for Shogun, I must stand with them absolutely because I mean it's so much better. I mean, just I know that you can't really compare like American fast food to like
it's definitely
Japanese.
apples and oranges. But
yeah, I mean it's definitely kind of a big comparison, but if I was hungry and I had $10 to $15 to just go get something to eat, I'm not going to go to Hardee's. I'm going to go to Shogun. So I will definitely stand with Shogun on this. Their bowls are great. So respect.
Alex, what's your vote, buddy?
I mean, regardless of what I get out of the two, it's going to be chicken related anyway. But just knowing that I can get rice with my chicken too, I'm going with Shogun.
Amen. There you go.
Ross, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Shogun. I mean, not hawking Hardee's. Their breakfast is amazing, but yeah, if you're going for a better meal, it's Shogun. It's delicious.
If I had to eat the same like type of food, I would eat Oriental food like 365 days a year. So definitely Shogun for me. And so the number 14 seed Shogun advances past the number 16 seed Hardee's.
Let's go.
So next up, we've got Taco Bell at the 5 seed and Penn Station at the 10 seed. Ross, what's your vote, buddy?
This is a tough one because I think Penn Station might low-key be the best sub place with the fries and the toasted subs, but I'm gonna go Taco Bell. Taco Bell is just a junk food staple. I think, whether you're, I guess it might wreck you now or whatever if you haven't had it in a while, but it's delicious. And
that's part of the experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like White Castle is. It is, Taco Bell it was unique too back when fast food was always just burgers and fries. I think it was one of the first different kind of fast food places. So Taco Bell gets it.
All right, Alex, where are you at, bud?
I'm going to go with Taco Bell.
Nice. Jared.
I got to go Taco Bell as well, just because, I mean, when you're hungry and when you're with your friends and it's like you're in high school and you're just hanging out on like a Friday night or something, you better believe you're going to Taco Bell. You're going to get some Baja Blast, you're going to get some cheese roll-ups, you're going to get all sorts of tacos and God knows what else. And the Crunchwrap Supremes are so good. I love those a lot. And the cheesy gordita crunches are my favorite, so I got to go Taco Bell.
Okay, so here's what I think of as the frugal person in these hard economic times. You can buy more food with Taco Bell than you can Penn Station.
Oh, absolutely.
It really is a shame, but it's so good.
Oh, it's digestionally destructive, but it's good. It's Taco Bell. I mean, if you want great food, you go to somewhere else. But I completely agree. I'm going with Taco Bell. So the 5 seed Taco Bell moves on to face Shogun next week.
Let's go.
So next up, we have the 9 seed Steak and Shake versus the 11 seed Zaxby's. We'll start with Jared. What's your vote, buddy?
Oh man, I love Steak and Shake's fries, but I also like Zaxby's fries. So that's kind of hard to choose.
It's tough, buddy.
Honestly, dang it, I'll go with Zaxby's. Just because I really like their new Caribbean jerk sandwich. And, I mean, if you get the Big Zax pack meal, I love the kickin' chicken sandwich. That's always a really good sandwich to get. So I'll go with Zaxby's.
I don't think I've ever had a sandwich there. Alex, you're up, buddy.
The fat kid in me will have to go with Zaxby's only because of the portion size of the chicken tenders compared to Steak and Shake. Like Steak and Shake's chicken tenders are good, don't get me wrong, but it feels like if I had a choice, like if they just compared like the two chicken tenders right in front of me, Steak and Shakes looks like a school lunch compared
Well,
to not
my
the
thing
menu
is,
get more chicken tenders. So I'm going with Zaxby's.
Steak and Shake though for me is more burgers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
So burgers, I got to give them credit for the chicken. At least they got it on the menu, I guess. But I'm not expecting it to be like a go crazy kind of thing. Ross, what's your vote?
I'm gonna go with Zaxby's. I think last week I said that it was probably one of my favorite chicken places, even over above like Chik-Fil-A and stuff. So I'm definitely gonna go with Zaxby's. Steak and
Nice.
Shake's solid, good, great steak burgers. But if you wanted to count how many times I've eaten at Steak and Shake versus Zaxby's over the past 5 years, I think it's probably 10-1 Zaxby's.
Yeah.
So
Same.
Yeah, I mean, Steak and Shake's okay. Don't get me wrong. And Zaxby's is okay. Between the two, I'd probably have to agree. I'd rather have Zaxby's at this current moment than Steak and Shake. Okay, so Zaxby's moves on. We have Pizza Hut, the 4 seed, versus Applebee's, the 15 seed. Let's go, Ross. What's your vote?
Pizza Hut versus Applebee's.
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna go with Pizza Hut. I'm sure Jake would probably roll over because of the apps and everything else, but Pizza Hut's got the same apps, like the boneless chicken wings, and then you get some delicious pizza, and you don't have to leave your house. And I mean, it's solid. And I've got some good memories, like you said last week, of going to Pizza Hut. I mean, the little personal pans were amazing. So
They're still good.
yeah, I remember I lived off those and their breadsticks during with my meal plan in college. So
Oh, yes. I forgot they had that at Western. Did you? Okay, I'll ask this to the group. I don't know. Did you all have like the accelerated reader where if you read so many books, you got a personal pan?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh my gosh, greatest thing ever. That was the greatest thing. That made me want to read as a kid. Now as an adult, I don't care. But as a kid, I was like, heck yeah, let me get some of that pizza. Alex, what's your vote?
This is actually I did not think of. I'm got to go with Applebee's.
Oh my gosh, Applebee's. Okay. All right. Jared, what is your vote?
So two things. These are some great stories for y'all, but of course, whenever I think of Applebee's, I think of Huntington, West Virginia, just because they embody what the typical Applebee's goer would be to me. But I got to go Pizza Hut just because it's really close to my house and they know me really well. Great service, and the pizza's really good. Like you said, the breadsticks are good. The personal pan pizzas are good. And of course, if you use the mobile app, you can get a pizza however you want. But one of my favorite moments, one of the only times I ever conversed with Ray Harper was when they were doing this special thing in the student section where they would order a bunch of Pizza Hut and give it to the students before the game. And it was great because, I mean, it's free and you're in the student section and it's still top for basketball, so obviously. But I'll never forget, there was... I remembered this. Thank you for reminding me. But I was just sitting close to the court like I always would as a student, and I don't think there was pizza for the game. So I get Ray Harper's attention. It was before the game. He's just hanging out during the warm-ups. He's like, so coach, when are we going to get some more pizza in? He's like, what? I was like, when are we going to get some more pizza in? He's like, hopefully we'll get some soon. And he just walks off. He just seems so awestruck with my question of all the things I could have asked him. I asked him when we were getting pizza. So that's a special memory for me. So I have to go Pizza Hut.
For me, I hope to God somebody says, "Hey, Coach Harper, what is the most random thing you've been asked in a pregame warm-up?" He said,
"Where's the pizza?
Where's the pizza was?"
I don't care.
You should have asked him for a Diet Coke, Jared. He might have got you one.
Yeah, I know. Regrets.
Okay, so Jared, you said Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a sweep because Pizza Hut's buffet is. I mean,
yeah, that's
Alex better for Applebee's.
Church, yeah.
Yes, Alex. Sorry, buddy. Applebee's falls. But with Pizza Hut, I mean, when they added the buffet, I mean, like even back home in Scottsville, I would rather have the buffet than anything. And I couldn't tell you the last time I got Pizza Hut like delivered. Of course, in this time, it's hard to get it where I'm currently living delivered, but Pizza Hut's it's nostalgic. I mean, I watch the old commercials. Like sometimes they'll pop up on random commercials and on YouTube and stuff, and it's great. So I will remind everybody, since we've already done one branch of the bracket, you can look at the bracket thus far on Facebook. I forgot to post it to Twitter, but it is on our Facebook page. You can check it out there. We are going to move into the West bracket now. We have Colton's versus KFC. So, Jared, what is your vote, buddy?
Honestly, I've never had Colton's before. I don't even know
Really?
where I would find a Colton's at because I don't think they have one. Yeah, because that explains a lot. I've only been in Glasgow like a handful of times. So, I guess just from negligence, just going what I know off of, I would go with KFC. But of course, I don't know what Colton's has to offer. So I don't know if you want to legitimize my vote or not, but I would choose KFC.
I will legitimize your vote. I had a rant about KFC last week, and I had KFC today. My parents came up to visit. So KFC has slightly redeemed themselves in my eyes. Alex, what's your vote?
I love KFC as much as the next person, but if I'm going against a steakhouse, I do want experience the quality of food at least a one solid good time out of two. So I'm going to go with the upset for Colton's.
Nice. Ross, what's your vote, buddy?
What state do we all live in?
Kentucky.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. I like Colton's, it's fine, but it's a knockoff Texas Roadhouse, so we're definitely going to go with KFC, which is the original fast food chicken place.
Okay, so locally, there is a Colton's in Radcliffe, and this is what upsets me as a steak person, is when people that go to the restaurant tell you, don't order the steak at Colton's. That always kind of shoots it in the foot for me, because it's like, really? If you can't enjoy the steak at a steak house,
that kind of defeats the purpose, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to go with KFC as well. The 3 seed KFC moves on to the Elite 8 next week. So the next one we've got is the number 5 Qdoba versus the number 7 Fazoli's. Let's go with Ross first. What's your vote, buddy?
Qdoba all day.
Nice. Alex?
Qdoba.
Dun, 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 dun. So 2 Qdobas, right?
Yes.
Jared, what's your vote?
Make it 3. But
Fazoli's
breadsticks are good, but the rest of their food is not that good not that good in my opinion. But of course, Qdoba, great. Can't go wrong.
Love Qdoba. it is the greatest Mexican Subway ever. But I love the breadsticks at Fazoli's. But the pizza is I feel like they cook it the morning when they come in.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You could kill somebody with that pizza, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you could.
So number 9 Culver's versus number 6 Longhorn. Now this is a tough one for me. I know which way I'm leaning, but I want to hear what you all have to say first. Jared, what's your vote?
Ooh, see, once again, it's just kind of hard to compare because if you're just thinking of something fast, like a good burger and maybe like a shake to go with it, one of the concrete mixers at Culver's, those are really good.
Custard, yes.
Yeah, those are so good. But at the same time, Longhorns, that's a pretty good steakhouse. I like what they have to offer. It's pretty affordable, and it's usually good quality stuff too. So, I would give the edge to Longhorn in this one, but I'm not going to be devastated if they were to somehow get beat. But, I could understand losing to Culver's because of their concrete mixers and the custards and all of the frozen stuff that they have, as opposed to, their burgers and other things, which are still pretty good. But, that's kind of what you go for. And their cheese curds are really good, too.
Yes, this is tough. This is a tough one for me. And once we get to the other side of the bracket, there is another tough one for me. But, Alex, what is your vote?
I think I'm going to go with Culver's on this one.
Okay.
Because the butter burgers, they are...
Oh, my gosh.
I realized how good the butter burgers were until I recently Culver's last week. And I was just like, you know what? Let me get a Butterburger, and like I normally get them chicken strips, which is also good too, but they're Butterburgers.
So, Alex, you sound like Jake. You sound like a chicken guy. Are you a
He's
big
a chicken
fan?
tender
Yes, I'm
connoisseur.
very picky. I'm a chicken guy through and through.
Okay. All right. Because I was sitting here and I'm like, I have never had the chicken at Culver's, but I love their burgers. They got some good burgers. Ross, what's your vote, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the classic, clash of styles. Like, both would be, if they were facing somebody else, they would walk in this one. I think, Longhorn is probably one of the better, regional restaurants on the list when it comes to, like, if you want, like, the best meal, like, it might be one of the better ones that's still around. But, Culver's is one of my favorite fast food places as well. I mean, you go to, it's just a lot of good variety, really good desserts. Man, I'm going to go with, I think this list is more fast food oriented. So I'm going to go with the fast food place. I'm going to go Culver's.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm like Jared. I am torn between the two because they're, on the one hand, like, Longhorn is my wife's favorite place to go. She loves their soup and salad for whatever reason. You get soup and salad at a steakhouse. But anyway, she likes their French onion soup and their salads there. I always – and the what? Oh, okay. And she likes their prime rib too. Sorry. Sorry. She kind of threw me there. But I always get the 12-ounce ribeye there. The steaks are great. Don't get me wrong. But Culver's is where my heart is. I'm sorry. It sounds bad, but so we got I don't
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
So we have Culver's toppling Longhorn there. Longhorn being the 6th seed. Culver's moves on. Now the next matchup we have is Cheddar's versus Arby's. Ross, I'll go with you first.
I'm going to go with Arby's, man. Those fries make all the difference.
They really are good fries. Alex, what's your vote, buddy?
Coming from somebody that's ate at Arby's for lunch the past 2 days, I'm still going with Arby's. I don't care.
I was gonna say, man, Cheddar's has like the best chicken strips, though, like the biggest chicken.
They really do. They kind of switched their recipe out a little bit because I don't know when the last time y'all been to Cheddar's is, but the chicken strips used to be so big, like they took half the entire plate. Now it's just like I would kind of compare it to like a size above Steak and Shake. Like they're still
Oh my gosh,
the big chicken strip. But the one thing that got me back into Arby's was the sliders. I really didn't think that I would enjoy the roast beef sliders.
Yes, those are amazing.
Like, this is how weird I am. I could literally drink a cup of au jus. Like, it's no other. Arby's when I was in high school, so I fell in love with the au jus, along with the curly fries and the chicken strips, which changed their flavor a lot. But enough about that. Arby's all the way.
My wife loves au jus, and I think that's why she loves prime rib. But
yeah, I'm right on board with that one. What
were you saying? I'm sorry, you're kind of cutting in.
You're good. I'm right on board with that one. Like I could not have prime rib without au jus.
Okay, Jared, what's your vote, buddy?
Honestly, I will probably get. This is a hot take, but I've never understood all the hype with Arby's. I really don't. Like, I mean, the roast beef is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty good, but it's not really something I ever crave that much. So the only thing I ever really get there is like the gyros, which those are pretty good.
The gyros are cool.
And I had like one of the little pizza sliders or whatever it was, but I mean, I'm not a big fan of curly fries. I love the really nice thin and crispy fries, like the pencil fries. Those are really good. Those are my favorites. So I just don't really like it as much, so I would go with Cheddar's. And I kind of reflect the opinion of most people in Franklin because we had an Arby's and it went out of business. And yeah, I went maybe a few times and I never really enjoyed it as much. Even in Bowling Green, I'm just more like, eh. So I'll go with Cheddar's.
I'm kind of the same way, Jared. I agree. I'm just kind of like, I could take or leave Arby's. It's not a big deal. Cheddar's, I can take it or leave it too. But the thing that does it for me is, and I don't know, Alex, if you ever had this at Arby's or not, was the barbecue sliders, barbecue chicken slider.
I need to try that next time I go.
If they have it, because the place, the one in Radcliffe used to have it, and I could have eaten like 12 of them things. They were so good. And then they took them off the menu. And I was just inconsolable for days. It was awful. But like seriously, like I'm gonna vote Arby's. Cheddar's is just kind of that place that I can go to. You know, I can take it or leave it. But I'm gonna go Arby's. So Arby's gets the vote there, 3-1. They will play Culver's next week. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Culver's will win that one.
I think so too. So on our first side of the bracket here, we have Shogun, the 14 seed, playing Taco Bell, the 5 seed. Then we have Zaxby's, the 11 seed, versus Pizza Hut, the 4 seed in the East. In the West, we have KFC, the 3 seed, versus Qdoba, the 5 seed. Then we have number 9 Culver's versus number 2 Arby's. And actually, the crazy thing is we've had no ties this week. Last week at this time, I want to say we had at least 2 ties. And the East, we had ties.
The night is young.
Yes. So we have one more side to go here real quick. Luckily, we don't have that as big of a bracket to work through as we did last week. So for those of you who listened to the whole thing, I appreciate it. So in the South, our first matchup, we have Five Guys, the 16 seed, versus Popeyes, the 3 seed. We'll start with Ross.
Another giant clash of styles. I'm gonna go with Five Guys. The burger's great there, and Popeyes is good. It's solid chicken, but it's not earth shattering. If I had to rate which one was better at what they're doing, I'm gonna go with Five Guys and burgers. So.
Okay, so we have one vote for Five Guys. Alex, what's your vote?
Count me in with a vote for Popeye.
As a chicken connoisseur, that doesn't surprise me, buddy. Jared, what's your vote?
And while I agree with what you just said, Ross, that Five Guys is probably better at what they do than Popeyes is what they do, I still like Popeyes better. I'm a fan of the chicken sandwich they have. The spicy one is really, really good. And even outside of that, some of the other stuff that they have is really solid too. So, I got to support Popeyes. I was one of those people that was sad during that whole drought that they ran out of the chicken sandwiches. So, I got to go Popeyes.
I was not one that rushed out like with this toilet paper shortage and had to go to Popeyes to try it. But once I did, it was amazing. I love the original, and the spicy's really good too. They're both right up there. Went to Popeyes and I just got an original. I wasn't even thinking, and the girl threw the spicy in there, and I ate it. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" But Five Guys, my thing is with Five Guys, it's like Penn Station except a little bit more expensive. So I always have a hard time justifying spending that amount of money for Five Guys, which, by the way, really good burgers. Don't get me wrong. When I can go to Popeyes and get, the 5 strips in a basket with some mashed potatoes and gravy, that stuff's amazing. So my vote's Popeyes too. So we have a 3-1 over over Five Guys. Sorry,
I'm not hurt. Popeyes is still very solid. So I'm not, it didn't hurt my feelings too much. So
I didn't hear you're not crying as much as Jake did last week with Raising Cane's, and still crying, by the way. He made up an excuse that he couldn't come on. I think he's still pouting about the cane or the Raising Cane's. So it's fine. It's fine, buddy. You'll be okay. Number 5 Chewy's versus the number 7 Buffalo Wild Wings. Jared, what is your vote?
Ooh, man. If you put the creamy jalapeno dip that Chewy's has at Buffalo Wild Wings, it wouldn't be a contest. But, just the fact that they have it at Chewy's. Chewy's was good. I've been a few times, and their food was okay. I had the burritos or whatever. I think I had a beef chimichanga once, and it was great portions. It's huge food. And, of course, the creamy jalapeno dip is why anybody would want to go to Chewy's, in my opinion. You can buy that stuff in the gallons and go through it pretty fast. It's pretty freaking delicious. But that's all they really have to me. I don't really have much of an opinion of Chewy's outside of that. So I got to go with Buffalo Wild Wings. It's just a good environment. It has the sports. It has the wings. All the great different kinds. I think the Thai ones are the ones that I like. I can't remember the. It's like the spicy Asian kind. Those are really good.
Asian
Sweet
zing.
Thai chili?
Yes, Asian zing. There you go. I went
Asian
blank
zing,
on
yeah.
it for a minute. Yeah, those are great. Their fries are really good too. They have a lot of good apps as well. So I gotta go B-dubs.
Alex, what's your vote?
I'm about to go with B-dubs strictly because of the IPA selection that they have.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking of Wings and Rings. I think they have, it's called Sweet Thai Chili. But it's
Yeah, I've
really
had
good
it too, and it's great.
there. Ross, what's your vote, buddy?
B-dubs. Probably the original national sports bar, and the fact that Chewy's, like, other than what the dip that Jared said, I would rather go to like a local Mexican restaurant, whatever city you're in, than Chewy's, because I think you can just about as similar quality of Mexican food there. So
I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment because I would rather support local Mexican restaurants that maybe there's 12 of them to one Chewy's, but I think they do obviously authentic Mexican food better than Chewy's. And I would rather buy local anyway. But yes, I'm definitely with Buffalo Wild Wings. So it goes on to play Popeyes next week, which, by the way, that is a crazy matchup. The chicken matchup next week in the South.
that's
All
good.
right. So this one is a rough one for me. The number 9 White Castle versus the number 6 Texas Roadhouse. Let's go with Ross first. What's your vote, buddy?
Ooh, it's another one that's just complete opposites.
I know, but this is a tough one for me. Like, I like both of these.
I like both of them, but I think just the sentimental value, the nostalgia, it's got to be White Castle. I think there's too many fun nights where we ended up with the crave case, and the sliders are delicious, and you can't get it everywhere. And I'm gonna go with White Castle.
But the rolls, buddy. I mean, the rolls and the cinnamon butter. Okay, Alex, what's your vote?
I gotta go with the Yeehaw Applebee's, as Jake calls it.
That's great.
Look, just the fact that White Castle is good, but has any White Castle employee actually sung "Happy Birthday" to you while you were on the bull? I don't think
That's great. Oh my god, I had never thought of it that way, but yes, I've never had a White Castle employee sing "Happy Birthday" to me. Jared, what's your vote?
Man, I agree with Ross. It's the nostalgia of White Castle. There's so many good memories that can be associated with it, whether good or bad, especially afterwards. They're called gut bombs for a reason. Like, that's what my cousin in Indianapolis calls them. I remember when I went to my
Sliders,
first Pacers game. Yeah, I went to my first Pacers game, and I went by myself because my parents weren't able to go because of my dad. He was down in his back, and there was a bunch of ice on the roads, but I still went anyway. So it was just me and my cousin that ended up going to the game. And it was just a fun experience, and then going to get some White Castle afterwards at like 12 o'clock in the morning. That's when you would get something like that, and it's at its peak then. So, I still got to go White Castle. I got to do it. And as a German, I have to have that Dusseldorf. You know what? You already know.
The Dusseldorf's amazing mustard.
Facts.
Jared, did you know you can get the thing of that at Kroger?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to.
You can get a little tube of it there.
Okay, so I am going, just for my sanity's sake, because I can't just do this, I'm going to vote Texas Roadhouse so we have our first tie. So let's go to the wheel. Let's go to the wheel and see what is going to happen with the White Castle Texas Roadhouse. All right, I get to post to the RedOUT football page, or the WKU football page, sorry. So I will post a poll there. So if you're listening right now, you can vote. I will post this real quick. And while I'm doing that, let's go to our next matchup. Now, some of you may have not heard of this story or this place, but we'll try and do it anyway. We have number 13, Mark's Feed Store, versus number 2, Firehouse Subs. Jared, I'll go with you first.
Okay, so I'm one of those people that just heard you say that, and I have no idea what you're talking about with the.
I figured you wouldn't.
It's a Louisville area barbecue chain.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It goes all the
only
way down
times
to
I've been
E-Town and
Louisville-
everything else. So
Oh, okay. So that's like a northern Kentucky thing. Oh, fancy.
Like we're Yankees up here because we.
Y'all are. I mean, Ross is a perfect example. I mean, I'm Southern Kentucky. He's Northern Kentucky, and it's just kind of crazy.
I was born in
that we're the
Paducah,
same
man.
state. Yeah, and of course, I mean, Alex, she's Western too.
I like that.
No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, Firehouse Subs, I mean, I would definitely pick Penn Station above them, but I will pick them just because I haven't had the Mark's feed meal or whatever you just said. I don't know. So, yeah, just give me Firehouse Subs just because of ignorance.
Okay. Alex, what's your vote, buddy?
I've heard from a good, reliable source that Mark's Feed Store has a really good brisket that I actually want to try. So
They do have some really good barbecue.
I'm going with Mark's, hands down. I'm not really a big Firehouse guy anyway, but just anywhere that has the brisket, point me to it.
Okay, Ross, what's your vote?
we're gonna let the Cinderella ride into the Sweet 16. I'm going with Mark's.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'm going Marks too. So that's 4 for Marks. Marks is the 14 seed over the 2 seed, and they will play the winner of White Castle versus Texas Roadhouse. So let me write this out real quick, so I can have it for next week whenever I go to post this to do this again. Okay, so now we're in the Midwest, and we have Wendy's versus Ruby Tuesday. We have to play this one before we go into the next one. So let me start with Ross. Wendy's or Ruby Tuesday?
Wendy's.
I agree. Alex, what's your vote?
Wendy's.
Jared?
You know, let's make it a trifecta. Wendy's.
I love it. All right. Wendy's moves on to face Chick-Fil-A.
They're going to get wrecked.
I know, right? Jared, what's your vote?
For that? Oh, I mean, Chick-fil-A, obviously.
Yeah, so we got Wendy's, Chick-fil-A. Wendy's is the 1 seed, Chick-fil-A the 3 seed. Alex, what's your vote?
We'll go with Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Ross?
I mean, I am of the opinion that Chick-fil-A is delicious but overrated, but I'm still going to choose them over Wendy's.
Yeah, same.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wendy's does a lot of good things, and if they were anywhere else in the bracket, I think they could make it really far. But Chick-fil-A, not only is it God's chicken, but it's also I couldn't resist. But it's also, I mean, like the service. Like if Chick-fil-A ran the government, like we wouldn't have the coronavirus right now.
You right.
They should do the test kits whenever they come out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah,
They'd be
go
like,
to
and your name
Chick-fil-A.
is Devin. Okay, here you
Have
go.
a blessed day.
Yeah, let me give you your test kit now. And how many sauces do you want with that test kit? Which, by the way, how many other restaurants do you go to that they, you ask, hey, can I have, for instance, Polynesian sauce at Chick-fil-A? How many do you want? And you're like, 4, 3, 75. I'm guarantee you there would be that many sauces in the bag for you. Like, I don't even have to look. Like, you go to McDonald's, like half the time I never get the sauce.
Yeah.
Am I the only one like that, or are you all?
Oh,
the
it's
same?
like that at a lot of different places, especially in Franklin.
So let's move on to the 12 seed Cracker Barrel versus the 7 seed Wings and Rings. Jared and Alex, you may have not heard of Wings and Rings. Ross, what's your vote?
I'm going to go with the upset. I shat on Cracker Barrel last week. I'm going to keep that train rolling. I'm going to vote Wings and Rings.
Okay. Alex.
I think I'm going to go with Wings and Rings.
Woohoo!
Just to keep.
All right.
My mom voted last week, so it's like, I'm just going to keep.
So you go with your mama. Not a wrong thing to do. Jared, what's your vote?
See, here's the thing that's wild, is that I've never had wings and things or whatever you just said. Turn that off before I... Oh, God.
Okay. You have a...
All right, I've never had the wings and things or whatever you just said, but I will choose them because that's how much I hate Cracker Barrel. Because
Oh,
it is
yes,
the most
yes.
It It is the most overrated Southern food of all time. If you're going to do something like that, go get something local. Like Franklin has Rylands, which is a good local place. They have Hot Plate. They have the Main Street Diner. I'm going somewhere like that before I would ever set foot into our Cracker Barrel because it is not very good at all.
Wings and Rings, just so you all know, is kind of like, I mean, Ross, what would you say? Like the knockoff Buffalo Wild Wings, kind of?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's a perfect sports bar, don't get me wrong. Like, the one in E-Town, like, instead of walls, I'm pretty sure they just have TVs. Sweet. So there's, like, literally, like, 40 TVs in their main, like, eating area. And that's basically what it is. It's just a sports place. And it's really good food. I mean,
glad I voted for them then.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong.
You could have said it was a toilet in some random old house, and I'd still vote for it over Cracker Barrel.
Jake would probably strangle you if he could right now about this Cracker Barrel.
Well, guess what? If he wants to come and try to defend himself, he needs to actually show up on the podcast. So, Jake, if you're triggered with hearing this, come back on the podcast. It's been a while. At least since I've been on there. Yeah.
Challenge.
Okay. So I agree. My wife she loathes Cracker Barrel. Like, if it was Cracker Barrel or eat an old nasty ham sandwich off the floor, I'm pretty sure she'd choose the ham sandwich. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. I'm gonna go with Wings and Rings. Cracker Barrel's breakfast is really good, but you know that's
honestly, it's not that good either. Like, their milk is so weird. Like, I don't know what kind of milk they use. It just tastes.
Jim Harbaugh over here drinking milk at Cracker Barrel.
I don't Great. Care. It's been that long since I've gone. Like, as a kid, I get like the pancakes and a glass of milk.
My thing, Jared, is just the atmosphere is overrated. You wait forever to get set. You have to go through all these people just gawking at just cheap knockoffs in their gift shop, and
yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. So next week, Chik-Fil-A, the 3 seed, faces Wings and Rings, the 7 seed. But keeping on the train, let's see here. Waffle House, which is the 8 seed, versus Montana Grill, the 11 seed. Now this is talk about the most random stuff ever. So let's go. Who was first last time? Ross. Let's go, Jared. What's your vote, buddy?
Honestly, I mean, I had Montana Grill before in Bowling Green a long time ago, and I think I had like the ribs or something like that, and it was pretty good. But one of the most important things with any type of food place that you go to is the atmosphere, and there is no greater atmosphere than going to Waffle House at like 1 o'clock in the morning and getting something to eat. So, I mean, you got to go with Waffle House on this one. At least for me, I'll choose the Awful Waffle. I'll do it.
Okay. Alex, what's your vote?
Waffle House, hands down, because of the hash browns.
Yeah, those are good.
Yes,
sir. I don't like hash browns that much.
Okay, so obviously you two have not had that jalapeno cornbread because that stuff is amazing. Ross, what's your vote?
Montana Grill's solid, but I'm definitely going with Waffle House. Too much nostalgia, too much deliciousness, and it's a staple. Didn't they close like 365 stores for this pandemic, which is a shocker? So, I mean,
yeah.
See, here's the thing: if you eat at Waffle House at 3 o'clock in the morning, then you're automatically immune to coronavirus. That's how it
stole
goes.
my joke. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Because the dude that sits over there over your hash browns and your eggs, who's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and the ashes are falling into your food, you got to be immune.
That literally reminds me of the one in Franklin. I remember the guy did that basically.
And I don't know what it is, but like, don't they like require that the hostess has to have this raspy voice, and she's like, "Just sit anywhere, hon. I'll come talk to you in a second."
What can I get for you, darling?
Yeah. What do you want? You're just like, oh.
It's like the old woman on SpongeBob. That's one about the chocolate bars. They're selling chocolates.
Oh my gosh. So next up, we've got Rafferty's the 13 seed. I'm kind of crying right now. Rafferty's the 13 seed versus Outback, the 15 seed.
Oh, God. Let me take this first.
All right.
Listen.
Jared, what do you guys?
Listen. I love Outback Steakhouse. It is so good. I love Australia. I love bloomin' onions. I mean, just going in there, ordering a bloomin' onion. Of course, like the pumpernickel bread that they bring out is great. I mean, their steak is pretty good, too. I mean, you can do the surf and turf with the lobster. That's where it's at. It's really good. And even some of the cocktails that they have are really good too. Just all around experience. But I respect Outback because when I graduated from Western, see, at least with me, I don't know how it was with any of you guys, but like college graduation just isn't as special for whatever reason. Even
I
though you
agree.
spend all this money going to college and then it's you don't really.
We
get much
we
of
went
a
to
party or
Montana
anything
Grill,
like that.
if that tells you anything.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I went to Outback, and one of the reasons why I did is because I actually tweeted at their Twitter account. It's actually my friend. He's like, he just graduated from college. You should give him a free bloomin' onion or something like that. And they actually messaged me like their official account, and I gave them my information, and they sent me a card saying congrats on the graduation and gave me some discount cards. So I am indebted to Outback Steakhouse. And Devin, if this goes into a tie and your wheel lands on the WKU basketball group, you will not be able to post. So go right ahead. Outback Steakhouse.
Awesome. I don't see it going in a tie. But anyway, Alex, what's your vote?
This is really tough. Out of all the matchups I had to do tonight, this is really tough. I'm going with Outback. I really don't.
That's a good man right there. That's a good man.
Appreciate rep that much. I mean, I just never got into the hype of Rafferty's. But Outback is a safe bet, and I actually do enjoy their steak.
Yeah, it is good steak.
I can agree with that. My parents were big into Rafferty's back in the day, and they love that place. And my mother and father still love that place. But Ross, what's your vote, buddy?
Outback. I mean, Rafferty's is overrated. I think, don't they own Double Dogs? I would take Double Dogs over Rafferty's all day. And
Same.
and Outback is great. I mean, it's got good variety and a good atmosphere, and delicious steaks and shrimp
The
on the
only
Barbie
thing-
and blooming onions and everything.
The only thing I would change if I was the owner of Outback is that the people have to speak with Australian accents. I'm just saying.
Yes.
You have to make it authentic, right? I mean,
G'day.
that's what it is.
What can I get started for you today, mate?
That sounded like the worst British Australian person ever.
You're welcome. That's what it would sound like. I'm just giving you a glimpse of what would happen.
That would be awesome. But in my vote, honestly, to kind of justify it a little bit, Rafferty's and Outback do a lot of the same things. It was for some things, like Rafferty's does steak, Outback does steak, but I think Outback does things better than Rafferty's does. There are things that Rafferty's does better. I mean, their fried onions are great. Their croissant bread things, those are great. I mean, but for the most part, like if I was going down the road and I was like, Rafferty's or Outback, I'm choosing Outback about 9 out of 10 times.
Good. I'm glad to see that you guys are smart enough to choose Outback. Because, see, the way that Jake feels about Raising Cane's is how I feel about Outback. I would fight any of you over Outback.
I just
Who does Outback play next?
Outback plays Waffle House next week.
That's a tough matchup.
So we will review this real quick because we've only got one real tie. So in the South, we've got Popeyes versus Buffalo Wild Wings. The poll for White Castle versus Texas Roadhouse is up right now. Mark's has moved on, the Cinderella story there. Chik-Fil-A versus Wings and Rings is coming out of the Midwest. And we have Waffle House versus Outback. So I imagine next week Chik-Fil-A is going to be playing either Outback or Waffle House. So we will have to see. You all check it out. We will try to post. I will try to post the updated bracket either Monday or next Wednesday, depending on how my schedule is, because it's kind of crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question: we got to hear Jared's kick return.
Yeah, let's hear your story, buddy.
Oh, God. So I think I've told it on here before, but, it's just a great story to just come back to every now and then. And, Alex, I don't think you've heard this story either. You're new, so you haven't got this great experience. So take you back to April of 2016, spring football game. It was my senior year, last sporting event I would get to go to as a student and everything. So, I mean, it's just a typical day. They had the Coral equipment sale beforehand. I was able to get a Ty Scott jersey that was game worn for a pretty good price and got it signed by most of the team. But before that happened, it's like the little scratch freeze frame. Be like, you're probably wondering how I ended up into this situation. Well, one of the things is that I think the Red Wave still exists. I know that there's more of an emphasis on the Rick Rowdies now or something like that. But when I was there, it was the Red Wave. It was like the main student group to be in for athletics and everything. Gives you some cool perks. And they were doing this special thing. They were doing a giveaway for like a $1,000 drone. And what you had to do, you had to go to like a certain part of the concourse and like sign up or do something like that to be entered to be able to catch a punt during halftime. It would be two people that would go up against each other, and whoever catches the most amount of punts are the ones that would win the drone. And I mean, I saw they were advertising it. I was like, I don't really care about that too much, but I mean, that's just me. So I go sit in the student section. I'm watching the game, and lo and behold, I see one of the guys right on the sideline, that was walking across, one of the organizers. And he's like, I need a Jared I'm just like, what does this guy want? Because I know that there's not a Jared however you say the person's name, probably. And then, of course, I check my phone, too, and at the same time, I see a personal message tweet from the WKU Red Wave saying, meet us down on the field at halftime. So, instantly, I am really shook because I did not enter this contest. Like straight up, I did not go over there and put in my name, and if anyone entered my name in there, then they would have had to have known me really well and actually know how to spell my name. But I know for sure I did not sign up for this contest, yet I was selected. So here I am going down on the field and everything. There was this girl that played softball, not on the team, but like through high school and like grade school and stuff. She played softball, and it turned out to be one of my friends I go to church with, her roommate. So that was kind of crazy. But so she was the other contestant that went up, and she went first. And the way that they did it, Devin, I don't know what the actual machine is called. You probably do. It's a little
jug machine.
Yeah, the little circles, and you stick the football in, and it goes like 1,000 feet into the air, and it comes at you like a projectile. Yeah. So they were doing it through that. They didn't have somebody just repetitively kick it. They just ran the football through that. So she goes first. I'm watching her do all of this. And I'm just like, man, it can't be that hard, right? I mean, I've played like football with my friends, and we would do punts and stuff. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad, right? Well, she goes and has like 4 or 5 tries, and doesn't catch one. So, and another layer to this that I think is great. I can't remember the name of the in-house announcer for WKU football. I know that Tony Rose used to do a lot of that. I don't think it was him. It was the guy that they have now that does all of the commentary like during games in the house. He flawlessly said my name. Even at my high school and my college graduation, that specifically emailed me saying that I should call them and tell them how to pronounce my name for commencement. They messed it up too. Like, this man perfectly said my name, which I still don't know how that happened. I thought that was the biggest miracle out of all of this ridiculousness. So here I am. I'm sitting on the goal line, basically, and then they run the first football. This thing looks like it's several hundred feet in the air, and it's spiraling down at me. And of course, like, I was able to get myself in the right position. So of course, me being the just ridiculous person that I am, I wait for a fair catch just to do something stupid. And then I try to catch the football, and that thing was coming in so hot. Like, I basically had it. I know in retrospect, everyone was telling me to do this, and I just didn't listen because I wasn't as comfortable with that, because I feel like if it would have went straight into my chest, it would have, like, blown up my heart because of how small that I am and how fast it was coming in. But, like, I tried catching it with my hands, and that thing bounces off of my hands, like, 5 feet into the air, like, far off behind me to where I can't run and catch it. And that's when I realized that these footballs are so freaking overinflated. Like, it had to have been rigged because it was so overinflated. Like, I still think Tom Brady had something to do with it. I'm sure he did in some way, shape, or form in this process, but... So that was kind of my awakening moment. It's like, I'm goofing out. It's like, all right, I'm going to call a fair catch. Everybody thinks it's funny. And then it bounces off my hands. Like, well, crap. So here comes some more footballs. And I still get close every single time. I was so freaking close. I don't know how many times. But see, this is another thing. This was a moral issue for me, too. Is because the girl, I think her name was Megan. that she may have actually signed up for this contest hoping to win a drone when I didn't even sign up for this contest. I didn't really care. They just kind of selected me because the head of the Red Wave at the time, he was someone that knew how involved I was with the athletics and always going to things. And he knew it was going to be the last event that I would be able to go to as a student. So I think he may have had a little something to do with that. But I can't confirm or deny that. That's just a suspicion. So neither of us catch a football. So we're like, well, crap, now what happens? And with me being 5'4" and 120 pounds and without an athletic bone in my body, it came down to a 50-yard dash. So here's me with with this music type individual with the slowest running speed that you can find for someone that's supposed to be fast. Like shorter people are supposed to be faster, but I am not. Versus this girl that played softball for like at least 6 or 7 years throughout school, who's a really good athlete. And so instantly I'm just like, well, crap. So it actually comes down to us running. And she was wearing like those boots or whatever. She throws the boots off, goes barefoot, and just takes off. Like we leave at the same time. I think I go maybe 20 yards in, and I know that she's going to win. So I just basically secede at that point because it's completely dumb. And so, I mean, I had the thing in the back of my head. It's like, well, I think I did the right thing. If she really wanted to win the drone, I mean, I would have felt bad if I wasn't a part of the contest and she won it when I didn't even put in my name and stuff like that. So I didn't really care. But you better believe when I walked back to my spot over next to the pet band in the student section, they were roasting me so hard because as a senior, I already knew most of the people in the marching band at this point. So they were ragging on me, be like, you're an embarrassment to the music department. Freaking Jerry. Oh my God. Yeah, one of the main guys in it at the time. Like he yelled that out, just messing with me. But it was definitely an experience. And even Zach Greenwell, when he worked for Bowling Green Daily News and before he became the person he is now, I remember tweeting him about it. I think he even acknowledged it and said, yeah, that was pretty bad, dude. But thankfully, I talked to Coach Brom afterwards, and I think I even talked to our punter too, but I didn't bring it up. And thankfully, Coach Brom didn't bring it up either. He's like, hey, we need you to come in for a practice and learn how to catch something because that was pretty pathetic or anything like that.
Oh, my God.
Thankfully, that didn't happen. So, but it's still a really funny memory of how I could have won a fancy drone. And I probably would have used it a lot. I don't know if she used it at all. But, I mean, it's just a funny story of how I embarrassed myself in front of like 5,000 people at the spring football game. But at least I got a signed game-worn WKU jersey out of the deal that has Dion Yelder's signature, Mike White, Coach Brom, Forrest Lamp, all of them. So that's a good piece of WKU football memorabilia from that conference championship team that I have, and the memories to go along with it.
I will give you props, and I will go ahead and say that the jugs machine, if depending on how high they had that thing turned up, that thing can really spit the balls out. I mean,
I think they had to have it at max.
You need to equip that, by the way.
Yeah, probably right. For those dirty-minded people like myself. After I said it, I was like, but yeah, they definitely like the when they crank that thing up, the footballs just shoot out. I mean, like there was a guy that used to he played DB at Western, and I can't think of his name. Matt probably remembers, but he was crazy, and he would turn that thing up and just keep like walking towards it, and they would just shoot the footballs at him. And I mean, he caught several. I won't say he caught everything, but he was pretty legit. I could not have done that, but yeah, sure. That's why I played O-line. But anyway, so thanks for joining us this week on our restaurant challenge. Hope you're enjoying it thus far. We do have a stipulation that the winning team will sponsor the podcast. So good luck out back. We'll see how that goes for you. Since Jared's already got a contact with them, we can just have him talk to them about getting a sponsorship. But that's it for tonight, guys. We will come back next week and have another show, hopefully, if the world doesn't end before then. But check out the Towel Rack, Ross and them. We've got articles coming out every week.
Hey,
check
there's a big football archive if you're bored and want to watch full games. We now are up to 79 full games. No, 80 full games, I think. So just keep that in mind.
Yes. You can go all the way back to 1938. I watched that one today, and that was probably like, if you're wanting to see like old football, like these guys are wearing the leather helmets. It's crazy stuff to watch. Western versus Eastern. But check out those. Those are really cool. If you're
Shout out to Jeff Schreiner for uploading all that stuff. That guy's doing the Lord's work.
Yes. We appreciate it. He's got stuff from this past year all the way through, sporadically through the 1938. So check those out. If you're under lockdown or whatever and you can't leave your house, watch those games. I think, Ross, you said we're going to be working on some basketball games, I'm assuming, on that too, or no?
Yeah, that'll probably be early next week. We'll do the basketball, and then we'll do like one with the lady tops and some miscellaneous stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think we're up to like 80 on there, and that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I think we might release Jared's annual football piece too next week too. So keep that in mind as well.
man. That's one of my favorite articles. I do my every record expectation to have, where I go from 0-12 to 12-0 and say how realistic that the tops will go that. Even though I didn't have 8-4 very high, but we'll see what happens.
I think you're going to have to include if we have a season.
Yeah, we'll get into that next week.
Yeah, exactly. But check out the Towel Rack, check out RedOUT. We got our Twitter. They've got a Twitter. Everything's up. And as always, guys, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Tops.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, this
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would have been triggered if Outback lost. I will fight for it for the remainder of this bracket.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Are we still live where people can hear us or no?
I can. Well, yeah. They can probably still hear us.
All right,
We'll just
never
talk
mind
about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. All right, later, guys. Have fun. It was fun. Thanks for helping a married guy keep his sanity.
Yes. You all. You take care. See you. Bye.
Later.